Bobby Mack Show here in the bonus hour. To the phones we go this evening. Let's bring in Alex. He joins us from Pickens. Hey, Alex, how are you doing this Friday?
I am disappointed in this federal budget. I mean, clearly they have no desire to balance the budget or pay off any of the debt.
Balance the budget. That's funny, right? Alex. Yeah.
Their goal is just to make the minimum payment, like somebody who's up to his neck in credit card debt.
Or to charge
manage the debt.
Yeah, or to charge their American Express on their Visa card.
Yeah, and the way they manage the debt is so manipulative, and they don't talk about it. But, the Federal Reserve buys back huge amounts of the U.S. Treasury debt with printed money.
You bet.
And then what they're doing is they're keeping interest rates artificially low to keep the interest on the debt from blowing up in their face.
Right.
And then the final thing they do is they push inflation up to reduce the debt like on a real basis. So let's say there's $20 trillion in debt, and then they double the price level of all goods and services. The debt goes down on a real basis to 10 trillion. So they manipulate the situation in that way, and they just spend their way into oblivion.
I read the other day, and it may have been Senator Rand Paul from Kentucky, who, and God love the guy for trying to make these so-called small government conservatives in Washington understand what the hell it is he's talking about. It was either he or someone else that pointed out, if they merely took 1 penny from every dollar that is in the federal budget, we'd be well on our way. 1 penny. Is it too much to ask? Well, I love when they put these budgets together, of course. They say, well, we are reducing the amount of... Yeah, they're reducing the amount of the increase, not reducing the amount of the money spent. It's so disingenuous, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, we basically just elect people who know how to spend money and not manage it. But the thing that's amazing to me is the inflation rate is much higher than they report it as. Nobody has 2% inflation in their lives. Just go to the store.
Yeah.
But your wages are only going up about 2%, but inflation's about 5%, so your purchasing power has fallen about 3% a year. After 8 years of this, a lot of people have lost about a quarter of their purchasing power. That's how they pay for the debt.
Yeah, Texter adds to the conversation. Let's start by eliminating the baseline budgeting. No kidding.
Oh, yeah, that's just a fantasy. I mean, the idea that they're going to go to zero-based budgeting when when you got Republicans jumping to vote for a budget like this.
Right. Well, we know that the bulk of where a lot of this money goes, setting the military aside for the moment, the entitlement programs. And these are all of those entitlement programs are the third rail of American politics, and nobody is willing to touch them. It's sad to say it's not going to happen.
Well, the problem we've got is that the baby boomers are all starting to retire.
You bet.
And they start to get into Medicare, into Social Security.
Right.
The budgets are they're beyond balancing. I mean, if you can't balance it at full employment when government revenue is high and unemployment's low, you're never going to do it.
Yeah, it's